You ever notice we don't argue the same anymore?
No, we don't. It's very different now.
I think we should talk about
I
that.
think we should.
Yeah. It's getting more and more ridiculous, man. What are you doing now? What is happening here? Oh, my goodness. What's up, Chimes? As you can see, my wife is losing her mind over here. It's really early in the morning right now that we're recording this, and this music gets her hyped no matter what. And now she's doing stupid stuff. What's the deal, y'all?
Come on.
Oh, my goodness.
Come on. Hey.
Hope y'all are doing all right. It is the end of a year, and we're moving into a new year, and we're trying to be new about everything, and we hope to encourage you today to start off your 2026 the right way.
Yes, and we're starting now because 2026 is around the corner. First of all, I can't believe that Christmas is already
upon us. We are literally about to be.
So
it's crazy.
Yeah,
the years go by really fast, and we're back through another cycle now. Kids are back home from school. It's Christmas break. We're getting the house ready and everything. A bunch of people coming into town, and we're excited about it. But we need to talk about this topic, which is arguing differently. We in our relationship have noticed that something has changed. A lot of things have changed over the years, to be honest with you. And we just celebrated 25 years of marriage, and we're excited about that. But
halfway
now
there, babe.
we are halfway. That's right. We need to get to 50 at least.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But we noticed that we argue differently now, and we think that couples that have been together for a while should actually have achieved this. And conflict, it should mature over time.
Yes.
And that's a good thing.
We don't want it to be that the arguing differently is that it's gotten worse.
That's right. That's true, because it could mean that. You're right. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about positive, but this could be negative.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
We want a positive difference.
Yeah, we do.
Yes.
We do. So we want to talk about that for a little bit. So first of all, I want to say that I am happy to have been married to you, the same woman, for the last 25 years. I think
It's been wonderful.
it has been amazing.
With the ups and downs.
With the ups and downs.
Yes, I wouldn't change a thing, babe.
I would change a couple things.
You would? What?
I
Let's
think-
talk about that. What would you change? Oh, that needs to be an episode. What would you change?
You're right. I think
What would you change?
the one thing I would change, because somebody asked us this while we were gone. So while we were traveling, I guess we're a little conspicuous in our lovey-doveyness, and people were noticing stuff. And one of the flight attendants saw that we probably like each other, and we happened to mention that it was our 25th and whatever. And she said, what advice would you give yourself? And I had some things that I would say, and so did April. But as I'm thinking about it now, I think on this topic, I would have told myself earlier about the benefits of trying to be on the same team instead of trying to compete against you. And I would say, in my family, I'm a Nixon, and we're really good at debating. We like to do that. And I think early in our marriage, I spent more time trying to win arguments than I did trying to be connected with you. And I would say that's the one thing I would change. I would say we would have enjoyed our marriage earlier, like we're enjoying it now, if I had known that. I enjoyed it. I'm just saying the level that we're
new.
I'm just saying the level to which we enjoy it now. I'm saying I think this was achievable earlier. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That teamwork thing is huge.
It's huge.
I cannot emphasize that enough.
It's huge.
Being a team, man.
Yeah.
When you are a team, you work together.
Yeah.
You support each other. You big each other up.
Yeah.
Because when you have teammates, you're like, yo, even when you mess up, don't worry about it.
You got this.
You got this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We need to be like that even in our marriages.
Correct.
And I think if we would change it to teamwork,
Right.
team effort, I mean, just that mindset change, I think, would make a huge difference.
So spoiler alert, that's basically my side.
Alert.
That's basically my side of this thing that we're talking about today is we've matured over time, and I feel like the major thing that I learned was that little piece right there. And I think that's the most important aspect of this. So anyway.
Okay, so let's just talk about the evolution of our fighting styles.
Yes.
Because that is what you're basically kind of, hinting.
Yes.
That there was a way that you did it, and you wish you had, done it differently.
So I want to
that what was the evolution? So we want to know, what was it that how you fought, or maybe not use the word fight, but how you disagreed earlier on, and how it is now, or the process, like what process did we go through?
So I can only speak from my perspective. Well, I can probably speak from your perspective too, but I shouldn't, so I won't. I'll let you speak for yourself. So let me just say, and then I want to ask you after this, but let me just say my main thing. When we started dating, there's a particular thing, I've talked about this before on the show. There's a particular thing about you that attracted me to you that actually was different than any other girl I had dated before you, and that is that you challenged me. You didn't allow me to simply say something out the side of my neck and just get away with it, right? And the girls I dated before you would do that all the time, routinely. They would routinely let me say and do things that, and I don't think I'm a chauvinist or anything, and I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm just saying you would challenge me,
right?
And I liked that, and what I thought was, oh, this is great. This is a person that likes to debate. This is someone who wants to go back and forth with me.
Yes.
And I think that's true in low stakes conversations. Like if we're talking about, who's the GOAT, LeBron or Michael Jordan, which we would never argue because we both agree that's Michael Jordan. But anyway, if it was something like that, that's a low stakes conversation. Who cares? We could do that, and you would love to do that with me.
Right.
But what I figured out years later was it wasn't like that when we were actually having a real conversation.
Of course not.
If we're really arguing about something like that means something, you don't want to do that. You don't want to go back and forth in a debate style. You don't want me to try to beat you and win. And there were times when I actually didn't side with you on something, even though I agreed, because debating is about winning the argument.
It's something because I felt that.
I know you did.
I could feel that.
I know you did. Yeah. That's your superpower. You're an empath.
Yeah.
So you knew that was happening. Anyway, so that for me, that's what it was. So my question for you is, what was your thing? What was the thing that you used to do early on in our relationship that wasn't positive when it comes to this kind of thing that you've changed, and how have you grown as an arguer?
My style was waiting to get my point across. So while you're talking, I'm thinking about what I'm going to say,
Yeah.
That was mine. So, and that wasn't great because I wasn't really listening to you.
Right.
I wasn't listening for understanding. You know, we know about that. Like,
Yeah.
listen for understanding rather than being understood or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I was not doing that.
Right.
My whole thing was, what am I saying next to debunk what you just said?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I really wasn't listening at the level that I should have been. I was listening enough to be able to know how I was going to respond.
Yes.
So that I could be right.
And can I say that you're actually good at that? Like I always felt like, there's several other things you could have done in life. I think you could have been a lawyer. Big time. Because once you get on a thing and you line up your points and you know how to say them in a way that's like succinct and without emotion, so it's not something that a person would disregard. You got it. Yeah, and it was hard to win in those situations. You know what I'm saying?
and it doesn't need to be about winning.
That's the point. That's what I learned.
And I think that's the thing.
Right.
It was that I felt like because you had a stronger voice. You know what I mean?
Like a lower, deeper voice,
exactly,
that kind of thing? Okay.
It's stronger. So I needed to make sure that I was strong as well. And so if I had to keep coming back, and cutting you off in that coming back.
Right.
But I wasn't seeing it like that, of course.
Right.
Of course you're not seeing it like that when you're arguing.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to be the one to not be right, but not be the one to have to apologize.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So here's what I found would happen, though. I found that we got into this cycle because we like being with each other. We like hanging together. We've always been that way. And I would say the best description of our relationship is we are homies who are attracted to each other. That's basically our thing, right? So like if you weren't good looking, I probably wouldn't have married you. We'd just be best friends. You know what I'm saying? and my wife would be like, you'd be always hearing about April. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it just happened. That's what I think we are. So I feel like our natural default setting was we want to hang, we want to be good, we want to have fun together, whatever. And what kept happening was this sort of cycle of things where everything is good until we have this like argument phase, and then we go through a period of time of sort of struggling to have fun together because we're in this argument cycle.
Yeah.
And I feel like what has changed is, for me at least, I figured out how to detach my emotions from arguments so that I don't take things as personally. Because the moment I take it personally, now it becomes this other thing that I have to win, and you become my adversary instead of my boo, and that changes everything. And now I'm trying to win and beat you, and in the process of beating you, I'm damaging you, I'm hurting you. And I'm therefore hurting us because we're one now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a whole thing that was really. So I think I've figured that out, and I'm not saying we never do that again. Like it happens every so often still, but not like it was happening
Not
before.
like it was. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There was like a cycle of that for real.
And for me, I think I am at the point where now I am really listening to see your point. You know, like, okay, let me hear this and not get defensive. So that's my thing, because I can get I want to defend myself.
Right.
I want to make sure that what you're saying, I'm coming back to let you know, no, that's not what I meant. That's not how I was doing. You know, that's not what I was saying. This is my point was supposed to be taken in this way. And I think that can actually mess things up, because if I'm constantly trying to defend myself, there's no way I'm going to hear your point. You know, so I decided that I'm not going to, I guess it's take it personally. I guess that's the same kind of thing, but it was more so I'm not going to try to defend, but to really listen to your feelings, as in, this is, I feel this way. Not that you meant to do it like this, but this is what it made me feel like.
Okay.
And so I'm taking it now as what I did. I know that I wasn't trying to hurt him. But let me hear what he's saying that this particular thing did to him, even though I gave it in a certain way, right? I gave it in a way that I thought I was giving it. And but the way that it was taken made you feel like A, B, and C. And so I can say, okay, I know that I wasn't trying to make him feel that way, but that's the way it made him feel. So now let him know that's not what I meant, you know, to make him feel that way. However, I'm very sorry. You know, you still need to apologize because it made the person feel a certain way.
So can I ask you a question? So, but if I understand you correctly, what you're saying is, when I say how you said that made me feel this way,
or did that,
you don't hear what hurt me. What you hear is you messed up in how you gave it, and you're like, that's not how I was giving it.
Right.
And so you spend your time
trying to defend the way I was giving it, rather than saying and listening to the way it made you feel. Because that's really the point.
That's the point.
I don't care how many times you say, I didn't mean to do it that way. That's not what I was doing. It still made you feel hurt. It still made you feel, blamed or whatever it is that it made you feel. So, or not loved or disrespected. That's the point. It's not going to take away the feeling that you had when I said it.
Right.
So really my response should be, I am sorry that you felt disrespected, or not that you felt. You shouldn't say you felt disrespected. I'm sorry that I made you feel disrespected, or whatever the way to say it. I'm sorry that you felt disrespected.
That's the way to say it,
yes,
bro.
I'm sorry that you felt disrespected, because that's not what I was trying to do.
That was not my intention.
That's
not exactly
my intention.
Right. Yeah. Now, can I say something real quick too? It's a funny thing because here's what I was going to say. That way of apologizing sometimes triggers people.
Yes, and that's what I was saying. You don't want to say it that way.
I don't agree. Because here's what I think. In my situation, when my mindset is arguing against you to beat you to win, then that's when that kind of apology triggers me. But when I understand that we're doing this together, that's a mindset shift on my end. I can receive that apology, because what you're actually saying to me is, I'm sorry that you feel that way, because I do not want you to feel that way.
Yes, but then I should say, I'm sorry I made you feel disrespected.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's the difference.
Yes.
I'm sorry you felt disrespected. It's almost like saying it's your fault.
Right. I guess that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
It should be, I'm sorry that my words.
Yes.
The way that I said that made you feel disrespected because those were not my intention. Yeah. I think that's better
I agree.
To put it on you because it was your fault that person felt disrespected.
Yeah.
Regardless of who they are.
But that right there takes a lot of humility.
It does.
To be able to say, even though you know your intention was not to disrespect.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's taking into account how I felt and caring more about how I felt than how you were feeling at the time. Mm-hmm. But that's a big thing to actually do. You know what I'm saying?
It is. And I think that's the difference. That's a great example of the difference. It was first, I'm sorry you felt disrespected.
Right.
To now, I'm sorry I disrespected you.
Yes.
Or I made you feel disrespected because it was what I did. And so I think putting, not giving that blame away so quickly. Mm-hmm. Taking the blame. Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. I agree with that, babe. You're right.
For the things that the person
and
felt that you did to them.
That's huge growth to be able to do that. That takes years to get to. Yeah.
So,
now let me just say, because I want to ask you a question about something else right after this, but there is one thing that I think impacts this that actually relates to our sponsor for today. I actually believe that a lot of these things have to do with your mood. And we have something that impacts mood that we take. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, naturally her, naturally man.
Yeah.
I'm specifically talking about naturally her right now, though, because it is new. Mm-hmm. And ladies, ready to feel like you again? Naturally her is the all-natural daily supplement that helps balance hormones, boost energy, and bring back your glow. It also helps with mood.
Yes, it does.
It really does. With ingredients like chaste, tree berry, B12, ginseng, and ashwagandha. Her supports your mood, your body, and your confidence. It really does. Feel good in your work, your body, and your bed, ladies, okay? Feel like her again. And men, you can feel like a man again.
Yes. Yeah, y'all
Naturally Man.
Y'all know we've been taking this for a while. We've been taking Naturally Man probably for like a year, maybe a little more than that now. We drink this every morning. We use it as a pre-workout. This thing wakes us up because it has natural caffeine in it from, I think, green tea or something like that. Yes. And there's so many other things in it for men that support your testosterone production and all kinds of stuff. So if you want to start feeling like yourself, this thing is amazing.
Wonderful thing. Yeah. It really is. So go to naturallyher.com. Use code CHIMES10. You can go to naturallyman.com as well. Mm-hmm. Use code CHIMES10 and get 10% off. Do that today and feel good again. Yeah, Bring yourself back to where you need to be.
Yeah.
So that you can, I think things like this do help with, the mood and making sure that you are where you need to be health-wise. Yeah. Because if you're not feeling healthy,
right,
it's really hard to be good in your relationships.
It really is.
It really is.
So, do that thing today.
Yes. And let's talk about that a little bit, because I think when you're not feeling good about yourself, when you're not feeling good about yourself physically, that can actually take a toll in your relationship.
I agree.
So let's talk about those healthy disagreement versus like toxic patterns. Okay. So there's some things that we also have learned over the years. Yeah. And one thing I think is a big one is criticism. Criticizing each other, feeling like the person is being critical, in that like, and we say this is name calling too, but something like, you're so selfish.
Mm-hmm. That's actually name
criticizing.
Calling. Yeah.
You never do this or that or the other,
Which usually isn't true. Using any kind of superlative in an argument, always, never, because no one always does anything or never does it. You know what I'm saying? There's if you just did it once, that's not never anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh, so that's kind of a thing to avoid in that situation. Yes. I definitely feel like I have a tendency to be critical when we start having any kind of disagreement. And that's a big thing for me that I try to just put aside. And for me specifically, taking a beat and thinking about what I say before I say it is actually the thing that helps me a lot.
No, but for real, anybody.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll help other people. I just know
thinking
personally.
about what you're going to say before you say it.
Just take a half second, man. Take a breath, listen to what the person's saying, and try not to respond in a way that is ultra critical. And I know the ways that I say things and do things. And because April is words of affirmation, that ends up making the conversation go south much more quickly. So for me, this is probably my biggest one. When I'm trying to avoid certain things, being critical, that's a huge one for me.
Yeah,
and see, this is the other thing about this. Self-reflection has helped over the years, really knowing what your thing is, because all of us have a go-to move. There's a particular thing that we do when it comes. If you know your go-to move, avoiding that is going to really help you a lot with these situations.
Mine is definitely defensiveness, and that's another toxic, style or whatever pattern. Defensiveness. Even you do it too.
Right.
That's being defensive. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just did that. I am quick to be like, I know he didn't just say. And he just did that thing. That's very hard to take someone telling you you're doing something that the person just did.
For the record, that thing you just did just now with your head and all that kind of stuff, that's so hilarious, man. That's exactly what you do. I know he.
Okay, another one. I know.
Defenseless is a big one, though.
Yes, it is. Stonewalling. That is huge.
So neither one of us really. Well, that's not really true. Do you think I do that? Stonewalling is basically shutting down, withdrawing, sort of refusing to engage.
No,
I don't really do that.
I don't think you do. I don't think we really do that.
I don't
but
think I had that one.
There are times when I do just go quiet.
Right. I know.
And you're like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
I guess I'm stonewalling.
Right.
I didn't realize that. But
I feel like
it's not for an extended period of time.
Yes,
No,
I feel like you're the type that actually always wants to resolve the conflict now if we can do it. So I don't feel like that's your thing.
There are times, though, that I don't want to talk about it right then.
Yeah, I'm like that too. I've been that way,
and that's okay.
But correct. So that would be the healthy side of the stonewalling, right? Yes. So because I think it's actually sometimes a good idea to wait to have the conflict because maybe both of us are too emotionally charged right now to do it. But and so doing that later is fine, but stonewalling is a different thing.
Yes, guys, because we've talked to couples where the husband or wife literally does not talk for an entire weekend.
Yeah, that's
I'm not talking to you at all for the entire weekend. I mean, that to me, that's stonewalling.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
It's not that
especially if you're using it.
You're refusing to engage.
Yes, especially if you're using it to stay in the power position.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying.
So the person is like, "Come on, please."
Yeah,
now
and you like them groveling.
You have the upper hand.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're like, that's not good. I mean, that's cool if y'all are like adversaries. But if y'all are like one, if you're supposed to be on the same team, that's not cool.
Yeah,
ever.
Because actually, you do sometimes disagree and argue with your teammates,
right?
And that is okay. Cool. Yeah. But if we're doing it in a fair way, then
it changes when we do. Yeah. So you can name a couple more, but I want to say something right now that might shift the argument, that might shift the conversation a little bit.
Okay.
So here's what I'm saying: when it really comes down to it, a lot of us avoid conflict because we think, well, whatever the reason is, we just don't like it. We assume it's just going to go away.
Let me tell you why. No, I'm just going to stop you right here. A lot of people avoid because they do not want to deal with the response of the other.
That's true.
Sometimes the way the toxic patterns that the other has is so big.
Yeah, that's true.
That I would rather avoid it and never ever deal with it.
Yes.
Because I can't take your either yelling at me or your, some people get, where they start throwing stuff, or,
You're right. That's true.
And it gets so bad that it causes them to have anxiety and to feel like I'm about to go down this hole, this thing, we're about to do this over again and I can't. Yeah. So they would rather avoid. Which actually makes things worse, by the way.
Exactly. But then they're
willing to deal with that. Like, they don't care.
That's true.
Because it's so bad.
Because the repercussions are worse. Yeah. But there are some people who avoid simply because they're scared of conflict.
That's true.
It may have nothing to do with any toxic pattern.
It could just be that they do not like the feeling of conflict. And I always say this. Go back to your childhood. Like, some people ignore their childhood. Guys, your childhood is what creates you, okay?
It literally explains so much.
Forms you into who you are today.
Yes.
So you may have to go back and say, why do I avoid? Is it because of something in my childhood that made me afraid of conflict.
Maybe I saw toxic arguing or toxic disagreements
or you
growing
could have
up.
been abused.
Or you could have been abused.
You know, anything.
There's all kinds of things.
You know, and so those are things we always say, get counseling.
Yeah.
You know, go to counseling to figure out how can I be able to be strong enough to handle when conflict comes.
Yes.
And not have to run from it every time.
So here's the thing. Go ahead. Sorry, you want to say something else?
Go ahead.
All I was going to say is this. When it really comes down to it, it's possible and actually should be the case that our arguments, our disagreements should actually bring us closer together. Seriously, the road, I think it was Rick Warren that says this, the road to intimacy leads through conflict. So if we learn how to do conflict in a good way, not toxic,
right.
but in a positive way,
in a healthy way,
then I think it's possible for you as a couple to get closer as opposed to pushing yourselves away from each other. Now we don't have time to go through all of that in this particular video, but this is actually what April and I specialize in. This is what we do.
Yeah.
And we actually have some things coming up in 2026 that we want you to be a part of. One of those is a group coaching thing that we're going to be launching. So we'd love for you to join us and to learn some of these things, some of these specific stuff that you can do, because there's some stuff you can do in your relationship that will literally take you to the next level. And we know about this stuff.
True.
We've been doing it for a long time.
We've gone through it ourselves.
We've gone through it ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Well, of course, we read and studied about it too, but we've experienced it. And so we want you to be a part of that with us. So we'll have some information in that pretty soon. Anyway.
Definitely. So I just want to talk about some other things. Scorekeeping. You know,
that's a big one.
Blame shifting.
Yeah.
You know, mind reading and assumptions. That's huge. When I say that's a big one, I mean, we have experienced that as well. But the assuming, I'm making assumptions, and I'm just going to go ahead and say what you're thinking, what you did that, what your reasoning was, why you did that joint. I'm not going to ask you. I'm just going to assume, and then I'm going to be mad at you because of my assumptions. I mean, that doesn't even make no sense.
No, it doesn't.
But that's what we do.
I wish I didn't have that one, but that's the mind reading one's a big deal for me.
The mind reading one is huge.
I'm still struggling with that one.
Yeah. And I mean, we're not going to ever, I don't think we'll ever be perfect.
No.
But we can get better. And we've gotten better. But you have to want to be better.
Yes.
You have to want to be better.
Yeah.
I read one called Whataboutism. Dodging the issue by bringing up something else. What about the time you?
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of is a little bit of a...
We're supposed to be sticking with this issue right here. We're talking about
bring
this.
Up stuff.
They're bringing up old stuff. Why are you bringing up old stuff?
Bringing up old stuff. We know about gaslighting.
Yeah, of course.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
You know, gaslighting.
Gaslighting is basically denying the realities that are there and then trying to figure out ways to basically make the person doubt their perception.
That never happened. That never happens. Or
stop acting. Just admit. Because this is the person that's closest to you. They probably know you better than anyone else.
Yes.
They may not always be right in what they're saying, but there's probably at least 95% correctness in what they're talking about. You need to go ahead and just admit to that joint. You know what I'm saying? Stop being all acting like this ain't never happened or something like that. That's garbage.
Exactly.
Anyway, so there's a bunch of stuff like that. Here's the point. Conflict should be able to bring us closer as a couple.
Yes.
And for many of us, it's what separates us. It's what pushes us apart from each other. It's what makes it so that we don't have emotional connection. And it's actually stealing our intimacy.
It is.
April and I hate that. We feel like couples should be literally going to the next level with their intimacy. And you could actually go into 2026 with a totally new attitude. It could literally be where now our conflict is going to be the catalyst for intimacy.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it should be.
Seriously.
And it can be that way.
Yes. And so changing things like not bringing up old stuff, not calling names, name calling, especially, name calling can be you're being selfish.
Right.
Not
you're being selfish. You're so selfish.
You're so selfish.
That's literally name calling.
You're so selfish.
Yeah.
We don't consider that name calling, but it is.
It is. And if I were to say it differently, if I were to say, what just happened, this thing that happens sometimes, it makes me feel like you don't think about me. It makes me feel like you're selfish. That's different.
Yes.
That's a different thing than saying you're so selfish.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And the yelling.
Yeah.
You don't have to yell.
Figure out
yelling
a tone.
takes it to the next level. Yelling
does.
just changes the temperature, and it makes it so that the person can't even listen. Because
and I don't think there's anything wrong with raising your voice when appropriate, because there are times when the amount of emotion that you have matches that. But that's different from yelling, like at the top of your lungs. Yeah. And you know what I'm saying? Pointing and getting like, you know what I'm saying? Try to figure out a way to bring that thing down.
Yes, you know and we've heard this before, and it's true. The reason why the stuff is said over and over again is because it works. Yeah. I statements. Yeah. You know, rather than saying you do this, you do that,
you own that. Here's how I felt.
I felt because it's not necessarily that the person was trying to do that. You know, usually we're not trying to necessarily hurt each other.
And
hopefully,
and
that's
by
not
the way,
case.
That's not necessarily the most important thing. It doesn't really matter what you were trying to do.
That's true.
Ultimately, the real issue is how I felt.
That's right.
That's really it.
How did that make you feel? That's I felt. So that really should be the focus.
Yes.
Once the person says I felt disrespected or I felt hurt or I felt unloved, now it's your job to say, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That
I never want
made
you to
feel that way.
Yeah.
Because I'm the one that made you feel that way.
Yeah.
No, I didn't do it on purpose.
Right.
And you don't even have to say that.
Right.
You could say that later.
Right.
But in the
no, I didn't do it on purpose part?
Exactly.
Right.
That doesn't have to be said right away because the person don't want to hear that.
Right.
They want to hear that you're sorry for making them feel that way because you did.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And we already talked about the no yelling, the threatening, threatening a divorce or threatening leaving or stuff like that.
Never happens.
No, but it does.
There shouldn't be any place for that.
And intimidation, that type of thing. No absolutes. We talked about that. Always, never.
Right.
We've heard this stuff before, guys.
Right.
But we have to put it in action. You can be honest.
Yes.
And be kind.
You have to be.
In your honesty.
Yes.
You have to be honest now.
The Bible actually says speaking the truth in love.
Exactly.
Like there's a way that when we're talking to each other, we have to be honest, but we have to bathe it in so much kindness and love. Literally say it to them the way you'd want it to be said to your grandmother. You know what I'm saying? Because grandma can't take it. If grandma hears it the wrong way, she might have a heart attack.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So give it to that person in a way that is so bathed in love and kindness that they can actually receive it. Now it's gonna be hard for them to receive it anyway because it's honest and it hurts, but you don't have to give it in the way that you felt it. Because sometimes we felt hurt in the thing that the person did, and honestly, we want to hurt them back.
That is so true.
Maybe it's not conscious in the forefront of our minds, but somewhere in the back of our minds, we want them to feel the pain we just felt. Yes. And so we give the honest thing in a way that cuts. Yeah. We shouldn't do that. It should be bathed in kindness.
So I think this is a good segue into our word of the day.
Word of the day.
So word of the day is resolution.
Resolution. That's a good word.
It is. The quality of being determined or resolute.
Now, how does that really fit with what we're talking about today? We think that part of the issue that couples have is that they have not made a decision to do it differently. Like, this is literally it. You guys get together and say, we're going to argue differently.
We're determined
to do it differently.
Yes.
You make a resolution, seriously. And you say together, we're not doing this the same way anymore. We want our arguing to lead to intimacy.
That's right.
We do not want it to lead to contempt.
Yes, so aim for resolution, not victory.
That's awesome, babe.
Yeah, because if I'm trying to be victorious, I'm trying to win, I'm trying to be number one. Yeah. I'm not going to have resolution as my top priority.
That's true.
Right?
So we're determined, we're resolute, we want to do this differently. And it can happen. And I believe in you guys as a couple.
You can do this.
You can do it.
And I think conflict resolution is I know. Okay. I know this for a fact. You guys know this for a fact. That conflict resolution is top for issues that couples have.
When they come to us,
it's conflict resolution is always number one.
We can't resolve
communication, conflict resolution. That's at the top. That's before the bedroom and all that. Because the bedroom and all that, none of that can happen the way you want it to if conflict is there. Negative conflict. Toxic conflict.
Who feels like being physically intimate when you're involved in negative, toxic conflict all the time?
Exactly. Yeah. So you're constantly arguing. The person always thinks they're right. You can never. And some people are. I'm sorry. Some people are married to narcissists.
That's true, babe.
You know what I'm saying? So that's another conversation.
That's a whole other thing.
That's a whole other conversation.
Right.
But I do think that it is possible if you are both willing to do the work.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, do the work on the front end, man. That back end, honey.
Oh yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know
that middle end. Don't even have to be the back.
It's not like you're talking about something else now. You probably need to pause on all that.
What are you talking about?
Some of the homies picked it up already. Anyway,
I did not pick that up. I don't think
my
like
boys
that.
did.
I don't think like that. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Anyway, we love you guys. Listen, argue differently.
Yes.
Not right now. Start in 2025, but let it bleed into your 2026. And now all of a sudden, y'all are a new couple. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Whoa. Oh, I'm sorry. Was I not supposed to move the mic? Okay. Anyway.
That's John's go-to move, y'all. He put his hand right there.
We'll see y'all next week. Love y'all.
See ya.